Joining me now in the studio is Doug Herbert, our international affairs commentator. Doug, even though the evacuations are continuing, the situation is still very grim for people in the region of Donbass, isn't it?
It's more than very grim, Annette. Basically, you had, up until recently, about 100,000 civilians were estimated to still be trapped in Mariupol. It's a city which once had 400,000 people living in it. Look, this is a tiny fraction of those civilians still trapped in Mariupol who we hear about getting out, getting out at the risk of their lives from the steel plant. There are thousands. The reality remains that despite the intense intervention of the Red Cross, Ukraine, trying to negotiate their safe departure, thousands of civilians remain holed up in the city itself, and not just in that steel plant. Many of them are seeing the steel plant, can look out their windows when they dare to do so and see the shelling and the bombardment of the steel plant. So the situation is still absolutely catastrophic, and it cannot be stressed enough how unnecessary it was for it to reach this point. The fact is that part of the war strategy waged by the Kremlin has been to continue bombardment amid the so-called evacuations through civilian corridors, then turn the tables and blame it on Ukrainians shooting at these civilians trying to get out. It's a strategy of trying to terrorize the civilian population, a strategy which we have seen not just in this war, but in previous wars. All of these civilians should have been out long ago, and it should have been relatively easy to negotiate.
And we're just 1 week away from the May 9th victory holiday, which of course is a Russian national holiday, yet Russia is nowhere close to having a victory in Ukraine.
Absolutely not. And it's pretending as if May 9th was never supposed to be a big symbolic day. Yes, it's one of the biggest days in the calendar, big military parades traditionally in Moscow to celebrate the defeat of the Nazis, defeat over fascism. And this year, there were a lot of expectations tied to it. In reality, Sergei Lavrov has been trying to sort of switch the narrative. He was saying he's not even talking about denazification anymore. He was like, this was never about choosing some arbitrary day. Victory Day or any other day was never going to determine or force our military strategy. Our military plan is going to go according to our plan. We're not going to let Victory Day influence it at all. What he's really trying to do is he knows that victory is nowhere in sight, that the Russian forces have making slow and uneven progress, even though that's not recognized or acknowledged by the Kremlin, that they are getting bogged down, and they're compensating by continued indiscriminate bombing, which is causing heavy civilian casualties throughout the Donbass region. So the Victory Day is ending up going to be anything but a victory celebration. It's going to be a day without any foreign officials being invited to see it. It's going to be a day where public opinion is being prepared, perhaps instead, for the announcement of the unveiling of an even broader offensive, a broader wave of this so-called special military operation.
Doug Herbert, thank you.